What is going on, Facebook family? I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy that you're on. I'm happy that we are spending some time together today.
What is going on, Facebook family? I'm happy to have you.
You didn't know I got another one of me sitting in the background, did you? Hey, listen, thank you for coming on board. Hello. We got people talking to us today. Hello, Facebook family. Listen, this is your spot. This is where you need to be. We got some cool stuff to talk about today. I got some cool things to talk about today. It's all for you. That's why we're doing this. You got to have the ability to be on here. I know we've got some stragglers still coming on. Let me play you one of my favorite songs. I got the eye of the tiger. Dancing to the fire. I am your champion. You're gonna hear me roar. Are you a champion today, right? Listen, I want you guys to be champions in your life. I want you to be champions in everything you do. Because you got to have the eye of the tiger, man. That's what this is about. Be a champion. Be committed to the journey. This is Zack Childress. I'm your real estate coach. I'm not your guru. You're with me live. We're doing our real estate investing talk show today. We do it every Tuesday on Facebook live at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone, 12:30 Central Time Zone. Be here or be square. If you want to get the real deal on the real estate market, I want you on here. So listen, everybody saying hi, hello, where you from? Roar. Yes, that's right. Be a tiger. Be a champion in your life, and that's where this is all about, is what are you doing to make changes in your journey to become a successful real estate investor. And I am just blessed to be part of it. I also want to give a big shout out to all my friends, family, and students in Florida right now that are going through some challenging times. Just know that all bad seasons will come to pass. And it just gives us the understanding of how strong we really are when we're faced with difficulties in our life and in our surroundings. So stay positive. Love from my family to yours. Keep going. Keep striving. It will all come to an end, and you will be stronger the following days coming out of this. So, all right. So, what do we got, Jill? Anybody saying hi? Oh, by the way, This is lovely Jill in the background. Everybody say hi to Jill.
Hello. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, she said. I like that. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Why do I don't do them on Mondays? Well, Monday, everybody's like, I hate Mondays. Tuesday, you're already in the week, so that's why we do it on Tuesday. You're ready. You're fired up for the week, so... All right. So this is your real estate investing talk show. What do you got, Jill?
Yeah, so we've got Rachel. She says hello to Zack and Jill. We have Steve says, hey, Zack. Hey, Jill. Survivor original version, Lola. Florida survived. Miss Christy is here. She says hello, Jill and Zack. Carolyn Herman is here. She says hey.
Awesome.
We have Miriam who says hello. Susan who says hello.
Lots of people on today. Steve says we are strong here. You're right, Steve. You are strong. Everybody's strong. So here's some things we're going to talk about today, just so that you guys are aware. Number one, if you haven't got my book, you need to get my book. Where do you go to get the book? You need to go to My First Deal Playbook. It's right there on your screen. MyFirstDealPlaybook.com. Get your book, guys. Get your book. It's very important that you get your book. That book is a game changer. The amount of testimonies that we're getting from students who are reading that book just makes me ecstatic that I put it out there. And I'm just happy people are getting it, people are reading it, and they're putting it into practice. So get your book. I'm literally giving you the book for free. All I want you to do is pay the shipping and handling. I'll ship it out to you, but you don't have to pay for the book itself. So jump on that, myfirstdealplaybook.com. Do that. The other thing is you guys may not be aware, but guess what I'm holding in my hands? You see that right there? These are your tickets to the event in Dallas, Texas, November 10th through the 12th. You need to get your ticket. This is general admission. What is general admission? It gets you in. It's $97 seat deposit. $97 seat deposit. What does that mean? Spend all 3 days with me and you get the $97 back. It's pretty cut and dry. I don't want you $97, but I do want to know you're coming so that I can reserve a seat for you. So it's a $97 seat deposit, your general admission. Yes, I know everybody wants to know about the gold tickets, but we have not released gold tickets yet. So hang tight, and I will be talking about those later on in the month to come. But if you go ahead and get your seat with the general admission and I open up the golden tickets, then once the golden tickets become available, you can upgrade into a golden ticket. The golden ticket is what you need. This is going to give you coaching by me. It's going to give you breakfast with me, dinner with me, a networking party with me, recordings of the event, the whole 9 yards. So you want to get your golden ticket. But I would encourage you to get your seat deposit as soon as possible. Because you know why? Here's the reality. These tickets are going to fly off the shelf like that right there. Watch out, Jill. They're coming at you, Jill. Watch out.
I need hazard pay.
So that's what we got for you. Listen, I also got several questions that have already came in today about real estate. So we're going to talk about those. And I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into wholesaling. And one of the questions I keep getting is the assignment agreement. What is the assignment agreement? So I'm going to walk you through the assignment agreement and how it's used, what it's used for, and how you should be using this. So we're going to talk about that today as well. But remember, this is your real estate investing talk show. This is for you to put questions in that you need help with on, and how do you want that help? And I will be happy to answer your questions, but you've got to be actively participating. Now, as you guys know on the real estate talk show, we do go on our radio blog talk and on our podcast. I always want to say iPod. Our podcast. So I will be cutting over that, and we will be talking to these guys, and I'll be cutting back to you guys. So during the break, I'll be coming to you to answer your questions. And I encourage you, type your questions in, and let's hear all about what you need help with. Because why not get the help while you're on here from the real guy, the Zack Childress, the real estate coach in today's market, doing what others aren't doing or aren't willing to do, which is come to you live every Tuesday to answer your questions. So jump on board with it. That's what I say.
And we are going to be going on air in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, this is Zack Childress. Welcome to your real estate investing talk show for what's working in today's real estate market. I'm excited to have you back on another show. We are here with our Facebook family too. So, if you don't know what our Facebook family is all about, then you need to get involved. You need to go to Creative Real Estate Training Academy on Facebook. You could also go to reisuccessacademy.com/Facebook. Either one of those will get you there. reisuccessacademy.com/Facebook, because it's one thing to listen to the message. It's a whole nother thing to be able to see us live, interact with us, ask us questions, see what we're doing. We're kind of crazy around here in the family. We like to have fun, we like to learn, and we like to make money in real estate. So if that is part of why you're listening to me right now, then I encourage you to keep listening and also tell others about us. My Facebook family, you know what you need to be doing. Share this stream. People need to hear this message, because this message is what will change people's lives, and it helps them become what? A champion. That's what it helps them become, a champion.
I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, dancing through the fire.
I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. All right, that's what I got. I'm feeling good today. So listen up. We are going to dig into wholesaling and the assignment agreement. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I want you to pay attention. If you're listening to me riding down the road, please keep your hands on the wheel. It's important that you don't have an accident while you're learning to build your financial freedom, because then that's going to shorten the time frame in which that happens. So what is wholesaling? So people ask me all the time, Zach, what is wholesaling? What is wholesaling? What is wholesaling? Well, let me help you understand. Wholesaling is different than a wholesale price on a property. Sometimes the older generation, they think that they're wholesaling because they're selling the property at less than what it retails for. So they think that's wholesaling. That's not wholesaling. So wholesaling is an art form that we got labeled as wholesaling, but what it is if you look at, contract law, what it's really called is assignment of an agreement. It's an assignment of an agreement or an assignable rights that you're selling. So wholesaling is not selling properties at a discount, because as a wholesaler, you actually don't even own a property. You don't even have a property to sell, and that's the language that you got to be careful about. You're not selling properties. You are selling your rights to a contract. That's what you're selling, because if you wrote the contract correctly, or you're using our contracts, you have acknowledged in the contract that you have the rights to close in any name or entity of choice, which basically says that I can close on this property in whatever name I want, which gives you the ability to assign that agreement and then allow someone else to close in their name or their company name. Now, we all need to understand contract law states that all contracts are fully assignable unless otherwise stated not. Now, I know this may be coming at you really fast if you're brand new, but understand this. All contracts are fully assignable. That is the law in which we follow when it comes to wholesaling, is that all contracts are fully assignable. So this is why I express to you that if you don't believe that all contracts are fully assignable, just go get any contract written by an attorney, a property management company, anybody out there that's in real estate, and you will see a line in there that says this contract is non-assignable. And here's why. What do attorneys know? They know what? I was hoping someone would answer that. They know that all contracts are fully assignable unless otherwise stated not. That's contract law, okay? So we are utilizing that in real estate to contract a property with the intent that, here's the thing, you need to always have the intent to buy the property. And here's why. Even if you say, well, Zach, I don't want to buy it, I want to wholesale. Yes, but why would you say that to yourself? If you went after a property that was going to make you $80,000 in profit, $80,000 in profit, and you had a hard money lender that was willing to give you the money to buy that property, why would your intent not be to take down that property and make $80,000 and instead assign the contract for $5,000 or $10,000? The intent should always be to take down the deal if it's a good deal, okay? But let's say you execute a contract. Well, what makes a good wholesale deal? Well, a wholesale deal is made good only if there's enough money for the end prospect that you're going to assign your contract to make money. That's how that really works, is there enough in the deal? So I share that with you because I want you to also understand that wholesaling is not what you might assumed it is, which everybody else probably teaches out there. If you've ever been to one of my events, you know that I don't teach like everybody else. And if anybody's on my Facebook fan page, you could probably tell the others that I don't teach like everybody else teaches, so they get the point. It's not just from me. So, and listen, if you're listening in right now and you're just joining us, this is Zack Childress. I'm your real estate coach, and you're joining me on the Real Estate Investing Talk Show for what's working in today's real estate market. And if you're just listening and you're not watching, you need to go to REISuccessacademy.com/Facebook. Do that right now. Get over there. REISuccessacademy.com/Facebook. Be on there, be in it, and here's why. Because you want to see what's going on too. So what we're talking about today is wholesaling. But let me be clear. What everybody else teaches out there is one way to wholesale. One way. And the problem with that is that everybody else is doing the same thing. If you want to become a master wholesaler, then you need to understand there are 6 6 different ways of wholesaling, okay? There is traditional wholesaling, and I'm going to go through these real quick with you. There's traditional wholesaling, which is what? It's find a property at a discount, then find a cash buyer, wholesale that contract to the cash buyer. That is traditional wholesaling. Then you have wholesaling the option, which the option is when you have a deal that there's very little equity in it, maybe 3 to 5% of equity in it, and you're able to structure seller financing on that property, then you use what's called a option. I think I have the agreement in here somewhere. It's called, give me one second, it's called assignment of option to purchase real estate. That's what it's called. An assignment of option to purchase real estate. That's an important option because here's why. I've structured seller financing with the seller because there's really no equity in the deal. So I need to do some type of seller financing to even try to get it to perform at a cash flow basis or even a future sell date, because I can say in the agreement that I'm willing to do the deal with them, but I want the purchase price to be the payoff amount at time of close. People miss that loophole. That is a huge loophole in seller financing because let's say it's worth $100,000 right now, but they owe $98,000 on it. Well, no investor wants that. Nobody really wants that deal. It's not a deal. But if I can structure, let's just say the house is worth $100,000, they owe $98,000 on it. If I can structure seller financing with that seller because they have a payment pain, they can't afford it, they're going to walk away from it, whatever the case may be, I can structure seller financing or some type of lease option on that deal to where I can say, look, I'm willing to take over the property as is with the loan amount of $98,000 on it, and I'm willing to take over the payments. But I'm not making my purchase price at $98,000. I'm going to make the purchase price the payoff amount at time of close. My friends, that is the secret to creating deals when there is no deal. Because then I'm going to structure the term for 5, 10, 15 years out. So think about that. If I structure a 10-year deal, seller financing, with a prospect that could not sell the property no matter what, and I step in and structure that deal with seller financing for 10 years out with the payoff amount to be at the time of close of what the payoff on the property is, then in 10 years, is that property now going to have equity in it? Yes. It could go up in value. It could now be worth $115,000, and now I could owe $70,000 on it. So I just created a deal out of thin air by using that strategy. Now here's the case point for wholesaling the second way, is I could either sit on that deal and hold that deal, or I could turn around and wholesale that option to either A, a landlord, or B, a tenant buyer. So that now they move in on seller financing and I move out with an assignment fee for the option. So that's number 2 way of wholesaling. Number 3 way of wholesaling is what we call co-wholesaling. Co, obviously, meaning more than one. And that is the strategy in which we go out and basically create small joint ventures with other wholesalers in the market. So that if I have a deal and I don't have a buyer and I call Jill and Jill has a buyer, well, we put the deal together and we split the assignment fee. Or if I don't have a deal, but let's say Jill finds the deal and then she calls me up and says, hey, I've got this amazing deal, but I don't have a buyer for it. Well, then I bring a buyer to the table. Well, we joint venture, co-wholesaling, and we split the assignment fee. It's the easiest way to get into real estate when you don't have a large marketing budget and there's other wholesalers in your market, is just to join forces with them. It's how I really got started out in California over the years, was being able to be involved and be creative in that. So now that's what am I on? 3? Mm-hmm. Number 4 is wholesaling to a retail buyer. Now, what is that? That goes against every single thing anyone has ever taught you in wholesaling. And yeah, I know I go against the grain, but here's why I go against the grain, because I'm not some guru sitting on a stage spitting off information that doesn't work. I'm in this. I'm investing every single month. I'm buying every single month. Everything I'm telling you I've done or I've created. People who know the story about how wholesaling to a retail buyer came to be, they know no one taught me that. I went out and forced the hands of the title companies to show me a strategy I could use to benefit the market that I was in. And that's how it was born. And so what is that? That's where we're able to find financed buyers. Buyers who have financing and other wholesalers won't work with them. Why? Because they're not cash buyers. And why is that? Because wholesaling has always been taught that if you don't have a cash buyer, you can't do the deal because they have to pay your assignment fee before you turn over the contract. Well, wholesaling to a retail buyer goes against all that grain. It means that your buyer is getting financing, so they have to be in a direct contract with the seller, which means you have to get paid out of escrow. But there are ways to legally protect you through escrow, and that's something that I teach. And where do I teach that at? Jill, where do I teach that at?
At your live 3-day event coming up in Dallas.
I teach that at my live 3-day event. Let me show you where I teach it. I teach that at right here. Look at here, right here. I teach that at the next live event, Wholesale to a Retail Buyer. It's in Dallas, Texas, November 10th through the 12th, okay? November 10th through the 12th. You want to be there, Dallas, Texas. The link to get you to that event is in the description somewhere. So join us in Dallas, Texas. It's important. Now, also, that is a strategy that your competition is not doing. I will promise you they're not doing, unless they've been to my event and they've learned it from me. They are not doing it. So what I'm trying to share with you is that's just 4 of the 6 strategies. And just that one alone, if you did it, it would change your game. It would allow you to not only work with cash buyers, it would allow you to work with financed buyers so that you can be ahead of your competition. And you're not doing everything your competition is doing. And that's the biggest thing. See, all these other gurus that flow through towns and do events all the time are teaching the exact same thing, traditional wholesaling. So we wonder why wholesalers have a hard time getting started, because they're all leaving these events trying to do the same thing in the market, and it's just not working for them. So you've got to do some things different. And listen, wholesaling is not outdated, guys. It's still working. I saw Christy wrote that. It's not outdated.
Can I point something out?
Yeah, I'm just on a roll over here.
Okay, so I do want to point out that you had just said that your competition is not doing this, and I want to point out that Baron Hopgood is obviously not doing this, where he's posting on here that wholesaling is outdated and this is not wise, as the lender will call a note due. And he's trying to actually post his own consulting page. So I just want to go out there and let y'all know that obviously Zack is current, and he is showing you exactly what the competition is not doing.
That's funny, Baron. I appreciate you being a troll. That's good. You know, we all need to find a way to snatch as many customers as we can, and I respect that you are actively trying to find clients for your business. But on the other hand, I don't respect the fact that you say wholesaling is outdated. It's not. So my fans on here, you guys can tell Baron how outdated he is. I have no problem calling him out. What I will tell you is this, is that, Baron, you're speaking nonsense. There's no way a lender can even call a note due when you're not even on title to have it called due. And the only way a note is called due is in the mortgage agreement. It says if the title is changed names. So that would be when you're talking about trying to do a subject to. Subject tos change the name of ownership, which means a due on sale could be called due unless you comply with the St. Germain's Act that says that you title into a trust, which means it cannot be called due. Or you use a lease option strategy where the title stays the same. So don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, man. Listen, I love you as a brother, but don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. So, all right, let's move on. Good job, Jill. We need to let them know what's real and what's not real. So we're talking about wholesaling. Due on sale is when you deal with subject tos, wrap mortgages, change of ownership. At the end of the day, you got to really understand that if you're going to be practicing a very viable strategy known as wholesaling, you've got to make sure you're doing it right, okay? And the wrong way is to think that you're selling a property. you're not selling a property. You don't own a property, so therefore you're not selling a property. What you own is the rights to a contract, which then you have the ability to sell your rights to that contract. So let me just make sure you guys are clear on that, because there's a lot of young wholesalers new to the business coming out, and they're thinking that they know what wholesaling is, and they really don't. And that's why they're getting in trouble, or they're creating trouble in the industry, because they're acting as an agent, and they're not agents. They're not selling properties. They don't have the rights to sell properties. They have a contract in which you have the rights to sell. So just make sure you keep your language tight, and make sure that you keep your language correct when you're doing the strategy. Now, strategies, wholesaling strategy 5 and 6 is commercial and REOs. We're not going to dig into that here because, I just want to make sure you guys are working on something that you can do. So listen, all my radio listeners and my podcast listeners, I'm going to take a quick break and I'll come back to you. This is Zack Childress, your real estate coach. All right, Facebook, let's dig into some questions. What you got for me right now?
Well, I do have to share here that Christy says, we came here to listen to Zack today. Thank you, Zack.
I love my fans. They know the real deal. Listen, here's the thing. Don't be mad at the guy. Don't be mad at him. Listen, sometimes people just like to have a voice and an opinion about things, and he's right to his opinion. I mean, he really is. My mother used to tell me all the time, opinions are like buttholes. They always stink. So, but we all have them, right? So I'm fine with him having an opinion. I just don't want his opinion leading you into the wrong information. And I have no problem calling anybody out. And here's the reality. If you don't like me, don't come to my page. Right? I mean, it's pretty cut and dry with me, because I don't need everybody to like me. All I need is champions. I need champions.
I got the eye of the tiger, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Come to my event. You want the real deal? You need to come to my event. You're gonna hear me roar. All right, let's change the energy around here, right? Because here's why. I love everybody that comes on my Facebook page, because here's why I love you guys. Because you're taking time out of your day to actually come and interact with somebody who really knows what the heck they're talking about. And it's an interaction. Like, you can ask me questions and talk to me, and you can challenge me. I'm perfectly fine with you guys challenging me. But you got to be willing to be challenged back, okay? That's my point, is you got to be willing to be challenged back. And if that's what you want to do, then let's rock and roll. But at the end of the day, we're here to learn, and I'm here to teach you what really works. At the end of the day, if you apply it, you'll succeed, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit on here and tell you guys you all should be wholesaling. I'm here to share wholesaling information because we get a lot of questions about it. Because wholesaling is just a tier 1 out of all 4 tiers. And you should never be a wholesaler and stay as a wholesaler. You follow me? You should always climb the chart. You should start as a wholesaler to raise money for your business and move into tier 3, move into tier 4 so that you keep growing your business, okay? So let's do this. Let's get Barron a book. I want to show Barron I still love him. So let's get Paris to send Barron one of my books. See there, Barron? I still love you, man. I still love you, man. I'm all for you, my friend. Let's get him a book. I'll even sign a book for him. See, that's how you handle people, right? You just show them you love them, show them you want to teach them, educate them, and then they all come back around eventually.
He says he's not hating on you, bro. So I do have a question here from Perry. He says, isn't it easier to bird dog, in brackets, scout, for real estate people, or is that co-wholesaling?
Great question. Who's it from?
This is from Perry.
Perry, great question, Perry. So let me just say this. Bird dogging is awesome. You want bird dogs for you because you only have to pay them $200, $300, $400, $500 for what's called a lead service. Be clear on what I just told you there. A lead service. You're paying them for a lead service, okay? That is the language in which you need to use. You're paying them for a lead service, okay? All right? So that's why I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Now, have as many bird dogs on your team as possible, but you don't want to be a bird dog because you want to be a co-wholesaler, because a co-wholesaler gets half the assignment fee instead of a lead service fee. So if you've got a lead that you've talked to, you've went through our script, you've communicated with them, you got them ready for a contract, why would you only get paid a lead service for that and not get paid a co-wholesaling fee on that, right? That's the mind shift that I want you to have. What else we got? Questions?
Yeah.
Leave
sorry,
the guy alone.
Okay, so I do have a question here. This is from Jamel, and he wants to know how should he explain about his deposit, which would also be known as his assignment fee.
Deposit and assignment fee are completely two different things. So is he referring the deposit for earnest money deposit or deposit of the assignment fee?
Deposit of the assignment.
Okay, great question. So what I say is this, and we're going to go over this assignment agreement right after I get off this break. So I know I'm on a break and I'm still answering questions, right? But the short of it, so that I don't go into a repeat process, is the deposit is to secure the investor buyer you're assigning your rights to's position. Okay, so if it's a $10,000 assignment fee and I'm asking for a $5,000 deposit, that's to secure their position. But you'll see when I go through the assignment agreement, I give them what's called a 3-day soft period, which means they got 3 days to make up their mind and get in or out of the deal. So we're going to break that down. And I'm actually going to put up on the screen a copy of our assignment agreement so you can go through it with me as I'm explaining it to you. How you like me now? How you like me now? So, good question. All right, let's rock and roll.
Right, so we are going to go back on air in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, it's Zack Childress and welcome back. We are back live on the Real Estate Investing Talk Show for today's market. And if you're just joining us or you're on board with us now, then I want you to know this, is that we are digging deeper into understanding wholesaling. We talked about in the first part the different ways of wholesaling. We talked about how to keep yourself safe. We talked about what makes the contract assignable and what your rights are to the contract. And this is how you make money selling contracts in the open market of real estate. Now, what I want to make sure I'm very clear with you guys on is that you're not selling a property. Let me be very clear on that. You're selling your rights to a contract. I don't want you guys to get in any type of trouble. So you're not selling a property. You don't own the property. You own the rights to the contract. That is my my strong pitch to you today. But the other thing, the whole reason I did this class today was because everybody keeps asking me about the assignment agreement. And what is the assignment agreement for? How do you use the assignment agreement? Can you go through the assignment agreement? So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to go through the assignment agreement. So the assignment agreement is the agreement in which we use once we are ready to assign our rights to a contract to the investor, buyer, landlord, whomever it may be. So what does the assignment agreement look like? Well, let's pull it up on the screen for them. And you can leave that there for a little bit. So if you're listening to me on the radio or you're listening to me on the podcast, I would encourage you to go to reisuccessacademy.com/Facebook, because then you can see what we're talking about here. And I think that that's important for you to be part of what we're doing. So the assignment agreement is pretty simple. The beginning of the agreement starts off with who's it in between, the assignee, the assignor, the property address, whereas the Landmark Property Solutions, one of the companies I own, is an assign-or, meaning that I'm assigning the rights to the contract to the assignee. And so just know that, and the seller's information. When we get into line item 1, this is where we get into the assignment fee. The assignment fee is the fee in which you're charging to sell your rights to the contract. So let's just say it's $10,000. Number 2 is the down payment. This is what most people in the industry don't do, and here's why we do it, because the down payment is where we say to our investor buyer or whomever, look, I don't need the whole $10,000, and I want half of it as a down payment to hold your rights in your position. And we give them 3 business days that they have a refundable period. So look, in those 3 days, if you tell me you don't like the property, you don't like where it's located, I'm happy to give those funds back to you. So That is why in line 2 of the assignment agreement, it's a down payment. And we give them the ability to get it back. If they wait on day 4, it's non-refundable. Number 3 is the closing date. Number 4 is contract for sale and purchase agreement. This is just simply stating that the assignee accepts all terms and conditions of the original contract for purchase and sales dated on blank date in its entirety, including all addendums associated with this transaction. Now, put it back on me, Justin. I want you to listen to this real quick, okay? This is where the new wholesalers in the market are so confused, and it drives me crazy that they do this because they don't understand really what they are as a wholesaler. An investor selling their rights to a contract. Because if a wholesaler brings me a deal and I say, yeah, I like everything, let me see the contract. Oh, I can't show you the contract. This is like the most annoying thing in the world to me because it makes me realize that they have no freaking clue what they're doing. They have no freaking clue. Or they went and studied under somebody that didn't have a freaking clue neither. Because here's why. You got to understand, if I'm the investor buying from you and I'm filling out this assignment agreement stating I'm buying the rights to this contract, then what am I really buying, Jill?
You're buying the contract.
I'm buying the contract. That's right. Not the property. I'm buying the contract. So how in the world can you justify buying a contract if you haven't seen a contract yet? I have no clue what's in it because look, I'm being binded. If you look at here at number 4, that the assigner accepts all terms and conditions of the original contract. So if I'm going to give you money for a contract and you're not willing to show me what's in it, how do I know what I'm buying? That's like walking on a dealership and saying, I want to buy that car over there. And they say, oh, no, I can't show it to you. Not until you pay me for it. It makes no sense. So you need to understand as a wholesaler, when you're selling your rights to that contract, that buyer needs to see the contract. They need to see what language was in the contract. What was the time of close that you've agreed to? If it's an investment property for cash flow, did you put in there that all leases have to be turned over, that assignment of lease has to be signed before closing? Did you put in there that there's proration of rents from the time you close? Did you put in there that all security deposits are to be transferred? You know, what is in the agreement? Because I'm not going to pay for something if it leaves me open for all kinds of issues. So you've got to be willing to understand that the process of wholesaling is assigning your rights to the contract. That's what they're buying. Number 5, hold harmless. Pretty self-explanatory. It just says the assigner shall not be held responsible for the performance of the assignee. So look, if I assign you the property and you don't do anything with it, or you make a bad investment and you lose money on it, that's not my fault. I'm out of it. Excuse me. Number 6, non-performing acknowledgement. Assignee shall read the paragraph under standards of real estate transactions on the original contract of purchase and sales and hereby agrees to abide by its terms. That's a pretty standard clause that most of the wholesalers don't even understand, that it's a contract. It is important that we understand standards of real estate transactions. And that just says that, hey, you as the buyer are acknowledging this. Number 7 is ownership. Ownership of property acts as an acknowledgement. At the time, and this is where you're very clear in number 7. At the time of this agreement, a assignor owns a contract for purchase and sales of subject property. A assignor does not own title to the subject property. A assignor and affiliated associates do not authorize assignee to enter into the property. My friends, this is where intent comes in. Under law, everything is measured by intent. I'm going to my buyer and I'm making sure that they understand my intent is to be transparent with them, and I only own a contract. I don't own title, and that's what I'm selling them. So this is why it's important that you know what type of paperwork you're using and the language in which you use it as, so that you're clear. Now, I don't know if we have the second page on there, but if we do, number 8 is limitation. Oh, there it is. Good job, Justin. Number 8 is limitation of assignments. Here it is. What? This assignment contract is not assignable. Right. Yes. I have to make sure all contracts are acknowledged, right? So additional terms and conditions and then the signing of that. So this is why it's important that if you're listening to me right now and you're not watching me, you need to be on the Facebook fan page. You need to be. You need to be on there. You need to be talking. I got a great fan club. My fans on there, they're interactive. They talk. They help each other. You need to be part of that. You need to go to REISuccessacademy.com/Facebook. That will take you to my Creative Real Estate Training Academy fan page. And that will allow you to be part of what we do. Okay? Now, understand this, that as you grow your business, you're going to grow your influence. And wholesaling is a strategy. I don't care how big you get. Listen, I coach people from all walks of life, from doctors to attorneys to lawyers to regular Joes to people trying to get out of their jobs. And I coach people from everything, the people who've done one deal to people who own $50, $60, $80, $100,000 worth of real estate. So don't be deceived by your level and your ability to be coached. It doesn't matter if you've never done a deal or if you've done $100 million in real estate transaction. We always need coaches. We always need our interaction. We always need to know how to get started or how to grow to the next level. You know, from a guy who owns 12 companies, and I've done well over $300,000-$400,000 or $300-400 million worth of real estate transactions, I can tell you this. I still use coaches. I still learn daily. I still move my business forward by getting education at a different level. I'm just very selective by who I pick to work with and who I choose to be in my life, because here's why. I could care less how expensive the suit is you wear. I could care less how expensive the shoes and watch you have or the car you drive. What I care about is where are you in life? And where are you at and where are you going? And where do you find your time best spent? And if you're finding that your time is always spent growing your business, then you're not the coach for me. And you shouldn't be the coach for anybody else. If you find that your time is spent with family and your church community and in your community and traveling and spending time, and yet you're still operating multi-million-dollar companies, then let me tell you something. That's the type of coach I want to learn from. That's why I live the life I live, because the people I learned from taught me how to operate multi-million-dollar companies and still have the life I want with my kids and family and community and church and travel, because I'm learning from the right people. I'm learning from the people that know how to have fun, and who could care less if you have a three-piece suit on. I don't care. Listen, I'll walk down the street and people won't know anything about me because I don't care about a three-piece suit. I think it's just a cover-up for most people, okay? So that's my opinion on it. That's what I'm going to deliver to you, and I want you to understand that coaches are needed in your life. And if you can spend 3 days with me in Dallas, Texas on November 10th through the 12th, I recommend that you do that no matter what you need to do to get there. You need to go to Dallas, Texas. You need to spend 3 days with me. You got all the way until November 10th to get your stuff in order to get there, because I'll spend 3 days with you, coaching you, guiding you, and delivering content at a completely different level. From wholesaling to fix and flip, I'll show you how to do market segmentation, the whole 9 yards. But you got to get there. And you know what it takes. It takes you getting registered. So you need to go to freedomfromflipping.com. It's also in the description above. So listen, for all my radio listeners and my podcast listeners, this is your coach, Zack Childress, with the Real Estate Investing Talk Show. I'll see you next week on your Real Estate Investing Talk Show for today's market. See you now. Facebookers! I'm still with you. Well, why? Because you're still with me. That's right. I'm still with you because you're still with me. And I'm with you because you're with me. And we got more questions to answer. And we got more people to talk to and more shout outs to give. So where are you at? I want to hear you roar. Be the champions that you are. I love it. Butterfly, singing like a bee, earning my stripes. Anyways, man, you know, guys, I love music, right? Music makes me happy. Makes me happy. What else we got on here, Facebookers? What you got for me? Share my stream, Facebook family. Share this stream. People need to hear the message. They need to be uplifted in life. They need to be acknowledging that there's other ways for income streams out there besides the one they're in. Let me tell you something. If you have a job and you love it, you should still do real estate. You should still do real estate to build extra income, to live a better life, to prepare for retirement. Income streams, my friend. Income streams. So, what we got, Jill?
We have Steve. He says, how do a deal with escrow money on the deal? I think he means like, how do you do the deal with escrow money on the deal? Like, how do they get that back?
How do you do a deal with escrow money in the deal? Well, let's talk about escrow deposits first, and then I'll help you clarify that. So when it comes to real estate, me and you can write up an agreement on a napkin. As long as we have the property address, the terms in which we're going to close on, when we're going to close, how we're going to close, what you get, what I get, all that's written out. But that contract is still null and void until monetary funds have been exchanged to validate that contract, which means all I need to do is put $1 up. That's it. My intent is to validate this a contract, so I'm going to put $1 up. We use escrow because it's a neutral third party that guarantees that funds are used for the purpose in which it was placed for, okay? Because if me and Jill go into an agreement and I say, yeah, I want to validate this, I'm going to give you a $100 escrow deposit, she could go to Tahiti for all I know, and I lost my money, right?
If I could go to Tahiti on $100, I would be going this weekend.
You just got to know the right people, Jill. But how do we get that money back? It's simple. Use my contract. If you have any of my courses, it's in there. But in the contract, it simply states that all escrow deposits are fully refundable, whether transaction closes or not. So here's the beauty of this. A title company is a third-party neutral service. So what does that mean? That means that they abide by the agreement of the contract, which means that if it closes or not, all I've got to do is fill out one form, and that form's called a release of escrow deposits. All title companies hold it. They may call it something different, but it's a release of escrow deposits. I fill it out. I submit it in. Escrow says, hey, look, transaction's not closing, or it is closing. It doesn't matter. He gets it back, or it gets applied to the purchase. If I'm a wholesaler and I'm assigning my contract, well, I just have to know that if I'm getting $10,000 and I put $100 into escrow, really I'm making what? $9,900, right? So who cares about the $100 if I'm making 10? I will give you $100 every day if you give me 10,000. Every day of the week. I'll sit here all day handing out a $100 bill. So that's what I want you to understand.
Steve says, okay, thanks. That explains it.
Awesome. What else we got, Facebookers?
Toby says she is beginning to understand. Christy says that with your team's help, I may be writing a deal this week. Yippee, that golden ticket paid off big time.
Boom! Christy, that's why you're here. This is the real deal. Get your offer out there. I'm writing a deal this week. I love that. I love that. Making it happen. That's what it's about. We're gonna rename this Facebook Live show to the Job Crusher Show. Let's crush some jobs. And yes, the golden tickets are worth it. They're worth it. I'm telling you, they're worth it. They're worth it. So
I have a question here from Edna.
Edna.
She says, I have wholesalers and owners of bulk properties that want to get rid of them. So how do I structure a package deal?
She has wholesalers that have owners with bulk properties. Mm-hmm. How do you structure the package deal? That's the question?
Yes.
It's pretty easy. You just got to make sure that you label out all the addresses that are being offered in the package. And it's different if it's an owner with a bunch of properties or a bank, right? There's two different scenarios there. Like going after what's called portfolio inventory from banks, you're basically buying assets, and a lot of times they're quick claim because a lot of them have tax liens, judgments on them, and you're not going to go out and do title work on all of them. It's a high-risk game. But if you're finding a landlord, Jill, like you guys found one.
Yes.
And you find a burned-out landlord who's getting older and they just want to liquidate, then at the end of the day, you're basically saying, hey, look, you got 20 properties that I'm willing to buy. I'm going to contract those under one agreement, and I'm going to outline all 20 addresses. So you're basically putting it all in one purchase agreement, acknowledging that there's 20 properties. And when I label out under purchase price, I put all 20 properties and the price per each property with a subtotal of the package of, I don't know, $400,000 or $1 million. so that it's very clear on each item and which ones I'm paying for and how much I'm paying for each of them with a total. That is my purchase price. That is the properties in which I'm going after. And then the rest of the contract is pretty much the same. My terms, agreements, inspection rights, and so forth. Does that answer it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I love package deals. They're my favorite.
Yes, they are, especially a burned out landlord, because
Yes.
they just want to dump and run is what they want to do. Dump and run, Facebookers! Hey, let me tell you guys something real quick. Have I told you guys how special you are? If I haven't, I need to tell you that. Because here's why. You guys have been following me and you've been so adamant about being on here and learning and seeing how it should be done. I just want to tell you I appreciate you guys for putting the time in to learn about the business and putting the time in to really engage in your life and your real estate business. And I'm just so blessed that you guys have picked me to help you get where you need to go. So that is what I got to tell you today. I appreciate you.
Kenny, he says, if you use earnest money from an IRA, can the profit go back into the IRA tax-free?
Ha! Good job, Kenny. Yes, I'm not. Well, hold on. I'm not an IRA expert. I'm not acting as an IRA expert. I'm not a custodian accountant. I don't work for any custodial account. But let me tell you something. The beauty of IRA accounts, self-directed IRA accounts, is just that. I can literally put a deal together as a wholesaler, right? So listen to me. Here's how you get tax-free, well, tax-deferred money. I can put up $100 to open escrow on a wholesale deal from my self-directed IRA, take $100 out of it, put it into the escrow account for that property. When I assign that contract and I make $10,000 off of it, it goes back into my self-directed IRA, which means I just made 10 grand self-deferred. Or tax deferred, I should say. So that is a very beautiful strategy to help build your tax advantages using a self-directed IRA. So a lot of people don't use that strategy only because most people who wholesale need money right now. And so them putting $10,000 away into account does them no good.
Okay, so
And it's not taxed free, it's just tax deferred. Let's be clear on that.
So wholesaling the options to purchase from my LLC to myself as the end buyer, can I do that?
Read the question again.
Wholesaling the options to purchase from my LLC to myself as the end buyer.
Wholesaling the option to purchase from the LLC to him personally as the end buyer. Okay.
Right. So
what's the question? Can he do it?
Can he do it?
Of course he can do it. The LLC is an entity of its own. So you're basically saying, hey, my company contracted a property and now I personally want to buy that. So I would pay the company the assignment fee and take ownership of the property and go or take ownership of the contract and go close on that in my personal name.
So Josie, she says, what makes a good wholesale deal?
Oh, Josie. There is no such thing as what makes a good wholesale deal, because you got to remember there's 6 different ways to wholesale. So it's all based on the property situation and the seller situation and how do we structure the deal. So what makes a good wholesale deal is any deal that you can contract and find a buyer for. Ultimately, that's what makes it a good deal. But, you know, when you're trying to say, well, based on the numbers, well, it depends. Traditional wholesaling, you got to get it low enough to where you understand how to run your numbers. And we talked about this the other day in one of ours, but you have a running your numbers sheet, so you got to know how to run your numbers so that the end buyer is still making money on it and you make money. If you can make money and they can make money, that makes it a good deal. But none of it's a good deal if you're picking them up in the wrong area. This is where market segmentation comes in. And if you're getting deals under contract that you're not finding buyers for, the reality is that you're finding deals in areas that people aren't buying in. So you got to change your game and understand market segmentation. Where can you learn market segmentation?
In Dallas.
That's right. You can learn market segmentation in Dallas, Texas, November 10th through the 12th. I'm going to be teaching that on day 2 and how to find what's called clustering zones so that even if you're going to be a wholesaler or you're going to be a rehabber or buy and hold, how to know where these clustering zones are at so that you find deals in those zones because buyers are already buying, so it makes your game that much stronger, and it allows you to make money faster. So there you go.
Edna, she says, how can I find good comps on rental properties and active comps?
Well, Edna, here's the reality. I don't really need comps to make a rental property a good rental investment, okay? Because here's why. If the property's worth $400,000 or $40,000 and I'm paying $40,000, it's irrelevant to me because my intent is not to sell that property in 6 months, 12 months, a year, or 2 years, or 3 years. My intent is to hold that property for the next 5 to 10 years. What makes me understand if the investment is good is based on cash invested and gross rents minus primary expenses, secondary expenses, debt services, and so forth to figure out what is my true net operating income divided by my cash invested equals my cash on cash return. That's what I'm looking for. So people say, well, Zach, do you pay retail for rental properties? I can, as long as the return, my cash on cash return, is high enough. I could care less what I pay for it as long as my return is higher. Now, obviously, I don't want to buy properties over leveraged, so therefore, I do want to get an appraisal on the property if I'm going to close on it. But ultimately, you could do simple comparable analysis reports, a CMA report, to determine what other rentals are selling for in the area. You get a CMA report. You could even go on and look at Zillow under similar sold properties in that neighborhood and just see what other properties are selling for. But at the end of the day, rental properties are in a completely different category than a fix and flip. In a fix and flip, I have to be concerned about what other properties are selling for because I've got to be able to create a very logical, trusting after repaired value that I can believe in because I am going to sell it in the next 2, 3 to 6 months. Where rentals, I'm not.
I want to give Christy a shout out because she says, oh my goodness, I just got it. She had an aha moment.
What did she just get?
I'm imagining that she's getting the numbers and why.
What does it say? Market segmentation is a game changer. Oh my goodness, I just got it. Yes, that's my point. Most people don't ever understand it or get it. They just run around trying to find a corner in a round room. That's what they do. Oh, it's around here somewhere. It's around here somewhere. Oh, it's around here somewhere. But it's not around there somewhere. It's your responsibility to know where your investments are going. It's your responsibility to know how to get the best rate of return on your investment and how to get in and out of the deal the fastest way possible and not sit on deals that are time wasters. For instance, I got a guy that I was working with, and he was like, from the surface, he looked like a great wholesaler because he was getting like 10, 15, 20 deals like every single month. Well, I asked him a very important question. I said, that sounds great, man. You're on fire. How many of them are you selling a month? He said, oh, man, I ain't selling any of them. And I said, well, that's a problem, man. He's like, well, I just need more buyers. No, you don't need more buyers. You need to find deals in the area in which buyers are buying at. The reason that he's getting so many deals is because they're in areas that nobody wants. And that's a misconception. People think, well, if I've got more, it's a greater opportunity. No. You want to find the deals in the right areas in which everyone's buying in so that you get deals that people want and you only have that contract for a day or two. So I keep thinking I had to have everything based on comps, but at the end of the day, rental is different. Yes, rental is different.
Huge difference.
Because you're not flipping it. If you're in the turnkey business, then yeah, you need to be worried about that, right? Because now you're selling it and you need to know what the value is. But here's the thing. If you're great at getting deals with high rates of return, people will even pay more than it's worth. An example, if I've got a property that's worth $50,000, but yet I can get you financing with 15% down and you only need to put $5,000 into the property, which means you're about $12,000, $13,000 into the deal. But that deal spends off $6,000 a year in net cash flow. That means that you're making close to 50% rate of return on the cash invested in that deal. So I could go, now I would never wholesale that. I would buy that deal every day of the week. But I can go to an investor and say, hey, look, it's worth 50, but I'm going to sell it to you for 55 because it's going to make you 50% return on your money every single year. And if you don't sell this deal for the next 5 to 10 years, then you will make up that overage because of paying down the principal and maybe an appreciation over the next 10 years. You know, if you got 1% a year, then that property would be worth $55,000 in 10 years. So the point is I'm, as a wholesaler, when it comes to rental properties, I'm always educating on the cash on cash return and why that is more important than what they're actually paying for it. Boom! Let me drop a truth bomb on you. You know why I'm dropping a truth bomb? Zero to hero. You held me down, but I got up, ready to brush the dust. Here it comes. I love this song. Now. You're gonna hear me roar. That's what I love about it, man. Do you know we're all champions? Christy, I'm glad you're getting it. 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 Guys, you need to get them in. Any more questions? You guys were wonderful today. Love all the interaction today.
Very actively present.
Actively present. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. That's what I love about this. You know what I love about this is you guys coming on here and talking to me. Listen, I'll talk to a wall. It don't matter. I mean, I'll talk to a camera. It don't matter. But what I love is when you guys are on here feeding me questions and making me think and answer. That's what I love. I love that. I love it. I love it. Because it tells me you guys are learning. And if you learn, we're making ripples, right? We're making ripples, ripples, ripples. So, anyways, guys, you know what this is. This is your show. This is about you. This is your real estate investing talk show. It's all about you guys. It's all about you getting to become a champion. Because this is your life. This is your chance to make a change. And this is why you come to this show to listen to your coach, Zack Childress. You guys know I love you. Go out there and make a difference. Roar as loud as you can. Love you guys. See you next week. We're coming on tomorrow. And I'll see you Real Estate Talk Show next week. See ya.